I don't know if I think Rougarou would just be more of like a guy who just comes to punch, and I think that would be like Hagler Hearns, man. I think it would be that.
Look, it would be a great action-packed fight. And look, Rougarou can punch too, but do I think he can punch harder than Tank? No, I don't.
Fuck.
And so, and again, Rougarou, much in the spirit of La Azteca, they want to be warriors. You know, they want to fight. And I think that, you know, Tank can box and he can fight. And so I think he will use his boxing to outfight you. And then he's got that power. So that would be a great fight. And I would probably have Tank winning by devastating KO.
Oh yeah.
But I do think he comes out of that fight with some damage himself too, though, because Rougarou, he can throw some hands. He does have boxing ability. You can get him heated, get that blood hot, and get him to get into a war, which eventually I think Tank would do to get him up out of there. But he's also a southpaw too, and I just think he's got some hand speed to put some stuff on Tank. And I think he will offer a lot more resistance than Barrios.
I think he would too, but I think to me that would just be the clash of mean streaks. That's all I see. Yeah. But I just think Tank
would be exciting.
Yes, yes, it would be. But I still would love to see Garcia and Tank more. But
Garcia and Tank would be a boxing match to watch. Yeah. But Rougarou and Tank would be the better fight.
Yeah, because I just think the mean streak of Tank would just win out in the end because I think his skill set is a lot higher, and there's just a lot more stuff he could walk Regis Prograis into during the course of the fight.
And they also have personal animus towards one another, so that adds to it too.
I don't even think they know where the fuck the shit come from. I just think it just come from one person shouting out another person. They ain't saying another guy sucks.
Tank basically said, "I'll whip his ass," you know, because they started talking about Tank. When Tank started thinking about 140, Prograis' name came up, and then Tank was like, I can take all those guys, and Prograis was like, keep my name out your mouth. Same thing that Josh Taylor did with Teofimo. Keep my name out your mouth. You're not undisputed yet. And so then, you know, he said, keep my name out your mouth. And Tank was like, well, I'll say your name as much as I want to. I'll knock you out. And then, you know, that's when Rougarou was like, I'll knock you out, little boy. And, you know, they got this whole crap going back and forth. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
That's a good fight then. That's a good fight.
But my money, knowing how Floyd's team works, my money is on Mikey and Rougarou fighting each other, because that's still PBC, and Tank fighting someone else and having a fight that's not even as big of a risk as Barrios was. More like he's gonna alternate. He'll do one markedly, you know, kind of maybe a challenging fight, or there's some risk involved, and then he'll get a guy who maybe has a little bit of name, you know, solid, but we all know Tank's gonna win. Right. So I think it's gonna be like that. I think that's gonna be his next move. And they'll say, look, Tank had to adjust to the weight class. He had a really rigorous, you know, rigorous training camp. You know, he's a belt holder in 3 different divisions and blah, 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 blah. They're gonna do all that, and he's gonna end up fighting like blah, 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 blah from PBC, right?
I would like for Regis Prograis to build his stock. You know,
I agree.
That would make that fight so much more worth it.
And Mikey Garcia, see, here's the thing people don't see. I would be after Mikey Garcia like white on rice, and here's why. Because who did Mikey Garcia fight? Well, only 1A. He's either 1A or 1B, not counting the heavyweights, right? Because heavyweights is the biggest thing. But in terms of pay-per-view stars, right? So it's like Errol Spence and Canelo. And Errol Spence actually sold more pay-per-views than Canelo did, even though it's the pandemic year. But he fought Mikey Garcia. He didn't finish Mikey Garcia, right? He didn't finish it. Now, if you Rougarou, you come in there. Granted, Mikey was at 147, then he comes down. But if you finish and you stop Mikey Garcia in more dramatic fashion, it's like, oh man, you finished him off, and Errol couldn't have. You did it in more spectacular fashion than Errol did, and then it raises your stock.
Yeah, you think he can stop Mikey?
I do, and I'm gonna tell you why. because Mikey was fighting tonight. After the third or fourth round, Mikey knew he couldn't beat Earl. His whole game plan was, I'll see if I catch him sleeping and I can catch him with one big shot. He never tried to put anything together. He never took any chances. I think against Rougarou, definitely Rougarou, not Tank, but definitely Rougarou, he'll take more chances because he'll be like, okay, lower weight class, I can actually knock this guy out, and I'm not really worried about him knocking me out. And I think he can slide in there and catch him with something and get his ass on up out of there because I don't think the fear factor is there, the concern factor. It was clear, you could even hear it in Mikey's corner with his brother, Robert Garcia. Hey, protect yourself. He kept telling Mikey, protect yourself, protect yourself. And so I just don't see them doing that against, Regis.
Yeah, he was in survival. Yeah. He was in survival mode against Errol.
He was in survival mode. But at the end of the day, the casual fans looking at it as, even though he was in survival mode, oh, shit, Regis, he stopped Mikey in the 8th round. Errol went the whole distance. Even though Errol outboxed him, the whole damn fight.
To anybody who doesn't know, Errol was not trying to knock Mikey Garcia out. If he would have wanted to knock Mikey Garcia out, he would have went and got a knockout. You think that a guy that weighs less than him is going to survive the onslaught that Errol can actually bring? Do you really think so? After what he did to Kell Brook, you really think Mikey Garcia was that good where he lasted 12 rounds? Is because Errol wanted him to go 12 rounds. And even though Errol picked up the pace, he didn't run Mikey down. He didn't run Mikey down. He just upped the pace of the fight.
He didn't run him down. And the biggest thing with Errol that you see that he doesn't get a lot of credit for, even though I know a lot of our coverage didn't see him, people think we probably Errol fanboys, but it's just the facts of what I noticed. It's real simple though. People always talk about, oh, he don't punch the hardest. He's not the biggest puncher. Well, you know why he isn't? Because you ain't taking no fucking chances to find out. That's why. Everybody against Earl, they don't let their hands go. They do not. And I think that's what Pacquiao sees. I think that's what Pacquiao is like, you know what? I see what he is. But you know what we haven't seen? We ain't seen nobody the entirety or consistency of a fight let their hands go against them.
Yeah.